She smiled at the apex predator. Then aliens watched in absolute horror. The arena floated above a gas giant, held in place by gravity fields that bent light and sound. Millions of alien eyes watched from layered platforms, each species seated by rank and threat level. This was not a place of peace. It was a place where fear was entertainment. The ritual was called the Proving. When a species wished to remind the galaxy of its power, it released an apex beast into the arena. The creature hunted. Others watched. Sometimes prisoners ran. Sometimes warriors fought. The result was always the same. The beast won, and the galaxy remembered who ruled the food chain. Humans were present only because they had recently joined the trade routes. They were placed low in the stands, near scavenger races and merchants. No one expected anything from them. They were small, soft, quiet. Laura stood near the railing with her hands resting calmly at her sides. Her dark hair was tied back and her face showed no fear. Beside her stood Kevin, older, broad-shouldered, his jaw tight as he stared into the arena. Behind them were three more humans, including a man named Eric and a woman named Claire. None of them wore armor. They were observers only. The predator species entered last, tall and scaled, with eyes like cold glass. The crowd roared in approval. This species had never lost a proving. Their beast was said to have wiped out entire colonies. The floor of the arena split open. Something climbed out. It was massive, with 6 limbs and a long spine covered in natural plating. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of uneven teeth that dripped with saliva. Heat rolled off its body in waves. The air trembled as it roared. Aliens cheered. Some turned to watch the humans, expecting screams. Kevin swallowed. Eric took a step back. Claire gripped the railing so hard her hands shook. Laura smiled. It was not wide or wild. It was small and calm, like someone greeting an old challenge. A nearby alien noticed and let out a sharp, clicking laugh. Others followed. Feeds zoomed in on the human woman who smiled at death. They believed she was broken. The predator handlers spoke loudly so all could hear. They announced that, as a gesture of dominance, the beast would be allowed to hunt freely. No barriers, no weapons. Any who entered the arena did so at their own risk. The gates near the human section began to open. Kevin turned to Laura. His voice was low. "We don't have to do this." Laura kept her eyes on the beast. They already decided. The floor beneath them slid forward. Gravity pulled. The humans were being lowered. Alien laughter echoed through the arena. As their platform touched the arena floor, heat and dust filled the air. The beast turned its head slowly, sensing movement. Its eyes locked onto the humans. Kevin felt his chest tighten. He had seen combat before. He had never seen something like this. Laura stepped forward. Kevin grabbed her arm. "Laura," she gently pulled free. "Watch its legs," she said. "It favors the left." Kevin stared at her. "How do you know that?" "Because it already thinks it won." The beast charged. It moved faster than expected, each step cracking the arena floor. Kevin shouted. Eric froze. Claire screamed. Laura moved. She did not run straight. She shifted sideways, her body low, her timing precise. The beast's claw swept past where her head had been a moment before. The wind of it knocked her back, but she rolled and stood again. The crowd went quiet. The beast turned, confused. Prey did not move like that. Laura breathed in and out, slow and steady. Her heart did not race. Her mind focused on distance, angles, weight. Kevin realized something then. Laura was not reacting. She was planning. The beast lunged again. Laura ran toward it this time, then slid under its chest as it leaped. Her hand touched the ground, guiding her movement. She came up behind it, already moving away as its tail slammed down where she had been. Alien sensors recorded everything. The data showed human reaction times exceeding expected limits. The predator handlers shifted uneasily. Kevin shouted instructions to Eric and Claire, pulling them back toward a wall. "Stay out of its line." Laura circled the beast, never stopping, never rushing. Dust clung to her boots, sweat darkened her collar. Her smile was gone now. Her face was focused, calm, almost cold. The beast roared again, louder, angrier. It charged in a straight line. This time Laura jumped onto a fallen piece of arena debris, using it as a step. She kicked off, twisting in the air, landing hard but balanced. The beast slammed into the debris instead, cracking its plating. A ripple of unease passed through the stands. This was not how the proving went. The predator species exchanged sharp glances. One of them spoke quietly. "The human is adapting." Another replied, "Impossible." Laura watched the beast limp slightly as it turned. She noticed the change. She smiled again, just a little. Kevin felt a chill that had nothing to do with fear. He had trained with Laura for years. He had never seen her like this. The beast hesitated. That was new. Laura stepped forward, slow, hands open. She made herself visible. She wanted its attention. The alien crowd leaned in, breath held. The apex predator had ruled through fear alone. It had never faced something that did not fear it back. And in that moment, as the human woman stood her ground and met its gaze, something shifted. The galaxy was still laughing. But it would not laugh for long. The arena was silent except for the heavy breathing of the beast and the soft wind of its movement. Laura crouched, keeping her eyes on the creature. Kevin, Eric, and Claire pressed against a low wall, unsure what to do next. The humans were small, fragile-looking, but Laura had changed something. She had made the impossible feel possible. The beast circled, its claws scratching sparks from the metal floor. It snorted, steam rising from its nostrils. Its 6 limbs moved in perfect coordination, making it seem unstoppable. Yet Laura did not move away. She studied each step, each twitch of muscle, each flick of its tail. "It's learning," Kevin whispered. He had trained for survival in extreme conditions, yet he had never seen anything like this. He wanted to tell Laura to retreat, but her eyes were fixed, calm, unyielding. The aliens in the stands were beginning to murmur. Some clicked their mandibles in confusion. Their sensors showed something strange. The human's heart rate remained steady. She was breathing slowly. Her body moved with precision, almost as if she understood the beast's intentions before it acted. The first real attack came suddenly. The beast leapt, its jaws snapping toward Laura. Instinctively, she rolled to the side, her arm grazing a piece of the arena floor. Metal sparks flew, and the crowd gasped. Her movement was too fast, too precise. The beast's momentum carried it forward, crashing into a set of arena pillars and causing a cloud of dust to rise. Kevin ran forward, shouting, "Laura, stay back!" But she was already moving. She landed lightly on the other side of the debris, keeping her eyes on the beast. She smiled again, small, quiet, not taunting but confident. Eric shook his head. "How is she doing this? It should have killed her." Claire covered her mouth, unable to speak. The humans had never faced something like this before, yet Laura moved as if the creature was predictable. The beast roared, louder than any sound Kevin had ever heard. It had never lost. It did not know fear, and yet something in the human's presence caused it to hesitate. It lunged again, but Laura sidestepped with ease, pushing off the arena floor to spin behind a column. She kicked at the creature's leg as she passed. The impact was enough to stagger it slightly, but not enough to stop it. The predators watching in the stands leaned forward. The apex species had always ruled through raw strength and terror. They had never seen prey so calm, so deliberate, so fearless. One of them whispered, "It is impossible. Humans are weak. This cannot happen." The beast, sensing a new threat, became more aggressive. It charged faster and with more power, aiming directly for Laura. She did not flinch. She timed her movements to match the beast's steps. She twisted, ducked, and struck at weak points along its armored back. The aliens in the stands began to murmur nervously. The beast, once the symbol of invincibility, now stumbled. Its confidence cracked. Kevin saw an opening. "Eric, Claire, follow my lead. Stay close but let Laura guide us." The humans moved cautiously. Kevin's team had learned to trust Laura instinctively. She had never failed in the field before, but this was unlike anything they had trained for. Yet her movements were logical, deliberate, precise. She was showing them a new way to survive, a way that no alien had anticipated. The beast roared in frustration. It swung its tail, knocking over a nearby pillar. Debris scattered across the arena. Laura ducked under it, rolling to her feet. Her small, steady smile returned. She moved closer, studying the creature's breathing, the sway of its body, the twitch of its limbs. She noticed the slight favor of its left side, the way it overextended when striking, and the moments it paused to sense danger. Kevin whispered, "She's reading it like it's a puzzle, not a monster." Laura didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her body language was enough. She shifted left, drew the beast toward a series of fallen pillars, and then sidestepped just in time. The creature smashed into the debris, stumbling. Eric could not believe his eyes. It's like she's controlling it." "Not controlling," Kevin said. "Predicting, reacting. She's learning faster than it can adjust." The alien spectators grew restless. Some clicked their mandibles in irritation. They had expected entertainment, blood, and the display of raw power. Instead, they were witnessing a human woman who moved with purpose, unafraid and deadly. The beast paused, shaking off the dust. Its eyes narrowed. It lunged again, this time with a feint. Laura did not rush. She stepped slightly to the right, letting its momentum carry it past her. She pivoted and struck its side hard. A panel of its natural armor cracked. The crowd gasped. Kevin felt his hands shake. She's doing it." Laura's mind raced. Every strike, every movement was calculated. She was teaching the beast a lesson it had never learned. She was not cruel but precise. She wanted it to understand that the human was not prey. She wanted the galaxy to see it too. The beast's confidence shattered. It circled warily, growling low. Laura kept her distance, studying it like a chess player studying an opponent. The humans around her stayed close, following her guidance. Each movement they made was based on what she had done, what she had taught them through action. The apex predators watching in the stands were silent. The crowd, expecting a display of dominance, now saw weakness in their champion. Fear had entered the mind of a being that had never known it. Laura took a deep breath, slowing her heartbeat, focusing on timing and position. She saw the next opening. She ran toward a broken column, pushed off it, and landed behind the beast. She struck again, using the momentum of her movement to deliver precise force to its legs. The creature faltered, almost falling. Kevin shouted encouragement. "Keep moving." "Don't let it corner you," Laura nodded slightly. Her eyes never left the beast. She did not fear it. She respected it. She understood it. She moved like someone who knew that fear was a weapon, but only if you allowed it to control you. The beast roared in frustration, slamming the arena floor with its claws. It tried to trap her against the walls, but Laura was always one step ahead. Every dodge, every movement, every strike was intentional. The aliens watching were horrified. No human had ever survived this long against an apex predator. Laura's small smile returned as she noticed the beast's left side weaken from repeated strikes. She adjusted her position, baiting it into another lunge. This time she sidestepped and, with a precise kick to a joint, sent it stumbling into a pillar. The impact was enough to break part of its armor. The crowd went silent. The apex predator species looked at one another in disbelief. Their champion, the invincible creature that had dominated the galaxy, had been outmaneuvered by a single human. Kevin ran forward to guide Eric and Claire, but Laura held up her hand. "Watch first," she said calmly. "Learn." The humans followed her instructions, staying low, keeping distance, but moving with awareness. Every movement Laura made was a lesson in survival, a lesson in how fear could be controlled, how power could be challenged. The beast paused, its breathing heavy, its movement slower. Laura studied it, reading each twitch, each shift of weight. She smiled faintly again. She had not attacked to kill. She had attacked to teach, to survive, and to demonstrate that humans were not weak. The aliens in the stands whispered urgently. This was not supposed to happen. The humans were supposed to flee, scream, die. Instead, one human had faced the apex predator and survived. Not just survived, she was dominating it. Laura crouched, ready to move again. The beast lunged one last time, desperate. She sidestepped, rolling across the arena floor, and struck its legs again, sending it crashing into rubble. The dust settled. The creature growled, unsure, panicked. It had never been defeated like this. It had never met prey that did not fear it. Kevin ran to her side, finally breaking his silence. You did it. How?" Laura brushed dust from her shoulder. "By not letting it scare me," she said simply. "It only wins if I let it." The aliens in the arena could not believe what they saw. The beast, once a symbol of unstoppable power, was injured, unsure, and wary of a human. A small smile on a human's face had changed the entire proving. Kevin looked around at the silent spectators. "They are watching in horror," he said. "Everywhere they are realizing humans are not weak." Laura nodded, eyes still on the beast. The fight was not over. The proving was not done. But for the first time in galactic history, a human had shown the apex predator that fear could be controlled, that calm could be stronger than strength, and that intelligence and precision could outmatch raw power. The arena held its breath. The apex predator's roar shook the air once more, but now it was not confident. It was cautious. It had learned something terrifying. A human could survive, adapt, and dominate. And Laura was smiling again. Not wide, not mocking, just calm and confident. A human, small and fragile in appearance, had become a force the galaxy had never expected. The battle had changed. The humans were no longer observers. They were participants. And the apex predator, once the symbol of terror across the stars, had become prey to a calm, determined human. The aliens whispered urgently, their clicks and murmurs filled with disbelief. Across platforms, across species, across systems, the proving was no longer a demonstration of the apex predator's power. It had become a demonstration of human will, intelligence, and courage. Laura took a deep breath, prepared to move again, knowing the fight was only beginning. Yet the arena had already shifted. Fear was no longer the weapon the aliens believed it to be. And the galaxy, watching in horror, would never forget the smile that had started it all. The arena had grown tense. Dust hung in the air, settling slowly over broken pillars and cracked metal floors. The beast stood in the center, breathing heavily, its eyes darting toward Laura. It had never faced prey like her before. It had never met someone who moved without fear, who attacked with purpose rather than panic. The apex predator felt confusion, something foreign, uncomfortable, almost dangerous. Laura crouched slightly, scanning the battlefield. Every piece of rubble, every fallen pillar, every shadow of the arena was a potential tool. She did not rush. She did not panic. She moved with a rhythm, steady and deliberate, as if the arena itself had become an extension of her senses. Kevin, Eric, and Claire followed her lead. They kept low, their movements hesitant but careful, mirroring her small steps. Kevin could not believe how calm Laura remained. Every strike she had made, every dodge, every shift had been intentional. She taught through action. The beast roared, a deep sound that shook the floor. It charged again, faster this time, claws slicing the air. Laura sidestepped, landing on a piece of rubble to push off and redirect the momentum. She swung her leg, striking the beast's side. The armor cracked further. The alien crowd grew quiet, murmuring nervously. Their feeds showed the impossible, a human woman dominating the apex predator. Whispers spread across platforms. Predators who had never lost a fight were frozen, staring in disbelief. Laura took a breath and ran along the side of the arena. She ducked under a sweeping tail, rolled across the floor, and struck again at the creature's legs. The beast faltered, stumbling, its movements unsteady. It had learned fear, something no apex predator had ever experienced. Kevin saw an opening. "Laura, now we can help." Laura shook her head. "Let me finish this. Follow my lead." She darted toward a broken platform, vaulting over a piece of debris, landing lightly and twisting midair to land behind the beast. She struck again, precise, controlled, a perfect hit to a vulnerable joint. The beast fell forward, crashing into rubble. Dust rose around it like smoke. Eric and Claire watched, wide-eyed. She's doing it," Eric whispered. "She's teaching it, controlling it." "No," Kevin corrected. "She's predicting it, reading it, outsmarting it. That's what terrifies them." The beast rose, shaking, growling low. It lunged wildly, striking at anything near it. Laura dodged, rolling under a swinging limb. She rose and struck its other leg, breaking a section of plating. The beast staggered again. The predators in the stands were silent now. Their champion, the creature they had raised as a symbol of terror, had been broken by a human. Not just broken, but humiliated. Laura circled the creature, studying its reactions. Every movement it made gave her information. Every twitch, every shift, every pause was a message. She learned faster than it could adapt. She attacked, not with rage, not with fear, but with precision. The human team began to move more confidently, following her signals. Kevin threw debris to distract the beast, while Eric and Claire helped guide it toward open spaces where Laura could maneuver. The humans worked as one unit, silent and efficient. The beast roared again, frustration rising. It had never faced prey that adapted so quickly. It lunged once more, faster than before, trying to corner Laura. She sidestepped, ducked, and struck its side again. The armor cracked further. The creature staggered, nearly falling. Laura smiled faintly. She did not need to intimidate. She did not need to roar. Her confidence, her calm, her control was enough. The beast felt it and it panicked. The alien spectators were horrified. Their feeds showed what had never happened. The apex predator, feared across the galaxy, had been brought to its knees by a single human. Whispers spread quickly. Predators who had watched and trained their entire lives could not believe it. Humans were weak. Humans were small. Yet here, one human had turned the impossible into reality. Laura took a deep breath, moving closer. She baited the creature toward a cluster of broken pillars, using their positions to limit its movement. She struck again, targeting joints and weak points, precise and deliberate. The beast faltered, tripped over rubble, and crashed to the floor with a loud impact. Kevin ran closer, guiding Eric and Claire. "Help me keep it moving. Don't let it recover." Laura shook her head. "We don't finish this with force. We finish this with control." The beast struggled, groaning, trying to rise. Laura circled, never stopping, studying, waiting. She noticed the uneven weight distribution in its legs, the fatigue setting in, the hesitation in its strikes. She smiled again, small and calm, showing it that she was not afraid. The alien spectators leaned forward, silent. Some covered their mandibles in shock. Their champion, the apex predator, had never been seen like this. Its confidence had cracked. The humans had changed the arena. The proving, once a display of raw power, was now a display of intelligence, courage, and precision. Laura moved closer, low, careful, using the terrain. She struck again, a measured hit to the creature's side. It staggered, then fell fully to the ground. Dust rose around it and the arena fell silent. Kevin approached, eyes wide. It's down. Laura, you did it." Laura crouched slightly, her eyes still on the beast. "It's not over," she said quietly. "But now it knows we are not prey." Eric and Claire moved closer, following her lead. They helped stabilize the beast, not to kill it, but to ensure it could not recover fully. The humans had turned the fight into a lesson, not a slaughter. They were demonstrating control, intelligence, and courage. The alien spectators could not believe it. The apex predator had never failed. It had never been taught by prey. Yet here a human had outmaneuvered it, dominated it, and survived. Laura stood, calm and steady. She did not gloat, she did not mock. She only watched. The beast, injured and hesitant, felt fear for the first time. It had learned something terrifying. Humans could survive, adapt, and fight back. The predators in the stands whispered urgently. Their champion had been defeated, not by numbers, not by weapons, but by strategy, precision, and courage. They realized for the first time that humans were not weak. Kevin put a hand on Laura's shoulder. They are watching in horror. Everywhere they are realizing humans are dangerous. Laura nodded slightly. We survived this round. The galaxy will remember. The apex predator rose slowly, its movements wary. Laura circled it, studying every twitch, every pause. She did not strike again. She waited. The creature had learned that humans were unpredictable, precise, and fearless. The crowd murmured nervously. Feeds were transmitted across star systems. Aliens who had never considered humans a threat now reconsidered. The apex predator species looked at one another in disbelief. Their champion had been defeated by a human. Laura took a deep breath, ready to move again. She had shown the human strength, intelligence, and courage. The arena had shifted. Humans were no longer just observers. They were participants. They were survivors. And the apex predator, once feared across the galaxy, had learned that size and strength alone did not guarantee victory. She smiled faintly again, small, calm, confident. The galaxy watched in horror, realizing that humans were no longer weak, no longer prey. The proving had become a demonstration of human will, skill, and courage. The apex predator had met its match, not in a rival of its own species, but in a human. And Laura was ready for whatever came next. The arena lay quiet for a moment, dust drifting lazily through the air. The beast, once feared across the galaxy, lay trembling on the cracked floor. It tried to rise, but its legs shook unsteady. Laura crouched, observing, her eyes sharp and focused. She did not rush. She did not panic. She waited for the perfect moment. Kevin, Eric, and Claire huddled behind a pile of broken debris. Their breaths came in shallow gasps. Kevin looked at Laura, astonished. "We've never seen anyone fight like this," he whispered. She's rewriting everything we know." Laura nodded slightly, scanning the arena. Every corner, every fallen pillar, every scrap of metal was a tool. She moved as if she and the arena were one. Her small smile returned briefly, calm and quiet, as if to remind the beast that it was not in charge. The beast rose again, slow, cautious. It shook off some dust, its eyes fixed on Laura. It roared, but it was different this time. It was hesitant, unsure. Its pride, once unshakable, was cracking under the pressure of a human's presence. Laura took a small step forward, her body low, her movements deliberate. She baited the beast toward a broken pillar, leading it into a tight space where it could not swing freely. The creature lunged, but she sidestepped, rolling to the side and striking at a weak joint. The impact was precise. The beast faltered. The alien spectators whispered nervously. Their feeds were showing the impossible. The apex predator, invincible for centuries, was now faltering under the attacks of one human. Many leaned forward, mandibles clicking in confusion. Their champion, their symbol of dominance, had been broken. Kevin moved closer to Eric and Claire. "Watch how she does it. This isn't just strength, it's strategy, precision, and control." Eric nodded, wide-eyed. She's teaching it a lesson, not just fighting it." Laura circled the beast slowly, every step calculated. She struck again at its legs, targeting weak points she had noticed earlier. Each hit was measured. Each movement forced the creature to adjust. It staggered again, losing balance. The predators in the stands were silent. Their champion had never been challenged like this. The apex predator species exchanged sharp glances, uncertainty growing in their eyes. A single human had changed everything. Laura moved closer, baiting the beast toward a cluster of broken platforms. She struck again, precise and controlled, breaking more of its natural armor. The creature roared, frustrated, striking wildly, but Laura ducked, rolled, and struck again. Kevin, Eric, and Claire began to act, following Laura's subtle gestures. Kevin pushed debris toward the beast, forcing it to move in ways Laura could predict. Eric and Claire guided it subtly, keeping it within reach for her strikes. The humans were no longer passive observers. They were part of a carefully coordinated plan. The beast, confused and frightened, lunged once more, aiming to corner Laura. She stepped lightly to the side, rolling under a swinging limb, and struck its side again. The armor cracked further. It staggered and fell into a pile of debris. The alien crowd was silent. Whispers turned into clicks of alarm. Their champion had been defeated by a single human, and they were watching it happen. The apex predator's confidence had shattered. Fear had entered its mind, something it had never known. Laura crouched, breathing steady. She did not taunt. She did not shout, she only observed. The creature tried to rise, but its legs shook. She circled, striking weak points methodically. The beast flinched, tried to escape, but every movement was anticipated. Kevin watched in awe. She's controlling it without touching it. She's predicting every move. Eric nodded. She's teaching it like a chess player. Every strike, every dodge, every step is a lesson. The beast let out a low growl, shaking its head. Laura moved closer, calm and steady, striking at its joints with precise force. It staggered, almost falling again. She circled, never stopping, studying, waiting. The alien spectators leaned forward, unable to look away. The invincible apex predator was being dominated by a human. Laura's small smile returned briefly. She had not used weapons. She had not used overwhelming force. Only her intelligence, timing, and precision had brought the creature down. The beast roared one last time, shaking the arena floor, then hesitated, unsure of its next move. Kevin moved forward. "We need to finish this," he said quietly. "Before it recovers." Laura shook her head. "Not with force, with control. Show it that humans are not prey." The beast staggered, trembling, its movements slow and hesitant. Laura approached carefully, every step measured. She struck again, targeting vulnerable joints, breaking more of its natural armor. The creature flinched, faltered, then collapsed fully onto the arena floor. The crowd gasped. Their champion, the apex predator, had been defeated not by numbers, not by weapons, but by strategy, intelligence, and courage. Laura stood over it, calm and steady, a small smile on her face. Kevin, Eric, and Claire moved closer, supporting her without interfering. The humans had turned the battle into a lesson, not a slaughter. They had shown the galaxy that size and strength alone did not guarantee victory. The alien spectators whispered urgently. Their champion had never failed. Their symbol of power had been humiliated by a single human. They realized for the first time that humans were not weak. Laura took a deep breath, lowering herself into a crouch, watching the beast. She had demonstrated survival, strategy, and courage. She had dominated without cruelty. The apex predator trembled before her, confused and wary. Kevin looked at Laura. They are watching in horror. Every system, every species, they are realizing humans are dangerous. Laura nodded slightly. "We survived this round. The galaxy will remember." The alien spectators shifted uncomfortably. Feeds showed the scene across multiple star systems. Humans, small and seemingly weak, had not only survived the proving but had dominated it. Fear spread among the apex predator species. Their symbol of strength had been broken, and it had been done by intelligence, timing, and courage, not raw power. Laura's small smile returned, calm, steady, confident. She had not yelled. She had not roared. She had only moved with precision, using her mind and body together. The apex predator had learned something terrifying. Humans could survive, adapt, and dominate. Kevin, Eric, and Claire followed her gaze. The arena had shifted. Humans were no longer just observers. They were participants, teachers of survival and control. The apex predator, once feared across the galaxy, had met its match in a single human. Laura took another deep breath, preparing for whatever came next. The alien spectators watched in horror. realizing for the first time that humans were not prey, and that their symbols of strength could be challenged. And Laura's small, calm smile told the galaxy that the battle was over, but the lesson had just begun. The arena was silent. Dust floated in the air, settling on broken pillars, jagged metal, and the fallen beast. It lay trembling, its breathing uneven, its eyes wide with confusion and fear. Laura crouched nearby, calm, steady, watching, every muscle ready but relaxed. She did not move too quickly. She did not make unnecessary noise. She let the creature feel her presence without fear. Kevin, Eric, and Claire stayed close behind her, observing, learning. They had followed Laura's movements for a long time now. Each dodge, each strike, each step had been a lesson in survival, courage, and intelligence. The humans were no longer simply observers, they were part of the action. The alien spectators were frozen. Whispers ran through the stands like fire. Their feeds had already gone out to millions across star systems. The apex predator species looked at one another, horrified. The creature they had trusted to show their strength had been defeated not by force, not by numbers, but by a single human. Laura stepped forward slowly. Her small, calm smile returned. She approached the beast cautiously, studying every twitch of its limbs, every shallow breath. It had never felt fear like this before, and it sensed that this human was not prey. She did not raise her voice. She did not yell. She only moved with quiet authority. Kevin whispered to the others, "Watch carefully. She's showing them how humans win not by strength but by control." Eric nodded. "I've never seen anyone fight like this before. She's teaching it, controlling it without weapons." Claire added, "And it's working. The beast is listening, almost respecting her." The apex predator struggled to rise. Laura circled it slowly, always keeping a safe distance, always observing. She struck its joints lightly, precise enough to keep it off balance but never cruel. Each movement reinforced her dominance. She showed the beast that size, claws, and teeth were not enough. Intelligence, timing, and awareness could win. The crowd of aliens whispered urgently. The feeds showed every strike, every dodge, every step. Some predators clicked their mandibles in fear. Their champion had been humiliated. The apex predator had been taught by a human, and they realized that humans were not weak, small, or unworthy of attention. Kevin moved closer to Laura, signaling Eric and Claire to follow. "Now it's time to show them humans are more than just survivors," he said quietly. Laura nodded slightly. She had already shown it in the arena floor, but she wanted the galaxy to understand. She ran toward the beast, low and fast, baiting it to lunge. She sidestepped at the last moment, letting its momentum carry it forward. She struck its side again, breaking more of its armor. The beast staggered, nearly falling over. Eric and Claire helped guide the creature subtly, making sure it remained within reach of Laura's strikes. They worked silently, trusting her. The humans were acting as a team now, each move intentional, precise, and deadly in effect. The alien spectators leaned forward, clicking in shock and disbelief. Their champion, the apex predator, had been dominated by a single human. Whispers turned to panic in some corners. Across the galaxy, viewers of the live feeds gasped, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. Humans, thought to be weak and fragile, had dominated one of the deadliest creatures in existence. Laura crouched low, preparing for the final sequence. She moved quickly, dodging a wild swipe of the beast's claw. She twisted, using her momentum to strike its legs again. The creature fell fully, sprawling across the arena floor. It roared, shaking, trembling, but it could not rise. It had learned something new: humans were not prey. Humans could fight, adapt, and win. Kevin stepped forward, guiding Eric and Claire closer. "Finish it," he whispered. Laura shook her head. "We don't finish with death. We finish with control. That's the lesson." She circled the beast again, striking lightly at weak points, making sure it could not recover. Every movement was deliberate, measured. The crowd of aliens could not look away. Every system that received the feed watched silently, realizing that the apex predator feared across the stars had been humbled by a human. Laura stepped back slightly, letting the beast rise a little. It shook, groaning, uncertain. She moved closer again, calm, patient, showing it that she was in charge. The creature obeyed without words, hesitating, unsure how to act. Kevin whispered to the team, "She's showing dominance without force. She's teaching it respect. That's something no alien could do." Eric and Claire nodded. They had learned something that could never be taught in books. Laura had shown them that control, courage, and intelligence were far more dangerous than claws or armor. The alien crowd was silent. The apex predator species looked at one another in disbelief. Their champion had been dominated, taught, and humiliated by a human. The galaxy realized something terrifying. Humans were not weak. Humans could adapt, survive, and dominate in ways no one expected. Laura smiled faintly again. She did not shout. She did not celebrate. She only moved with calm precision, letting the beast understand that humans were not to be underestimated. The arena had changed. The humans were no longer observers. They were participants. They were teachers of survival and courage. The apex predator trembled before her, confused and wary. It had met a human it could not control, a prey it could not scare. It had learned something new. Fear could be used, yes, but humans could see it, understand it, and use it against any creature, no matter how strong. Kevin, Eric, and Claire followed Laura's gaze. They knew the arena had shifted. Humans were no longer just weak observers. They were strategists, fighters, and survivors. The apex predator, once feared across the galaxy, had been humbled, controlled, and outsmarted by a human. Laura's small smile returned once more. She did not need weapons. She did not need overwhelming strength. She had used intelligence, precision, timing, and courage. The apex predator had learned the hardest lesson of its life. Humans could survive anything and adapt faster than any creature in the galaxy. The alien spectators whispered urgently. Every system that had received the feed was in shock. Humans were no longer seen as weak, small, or insignificant. They were now recognized as dangerous, intelligent, and adaptable. Kevin placed a hand on Laura's shoulder. "The galaxy will never forget this," he said quietly. "You've shown them humans are more than they thought." Laura nodded, calm and steady. "They needed to learn. Now they will remember." The beast lay trembling, cautious, and defeated but alive. It had been taught a lesson without cruelty, dominated without unnecessary force. It had learned that humans were not prey. The alien spectators slowly began to understand. Their champion had been humbled by intelligence and courage. The apex predator species realized that strength alone was no longer enough. The galaxy had changed in that arena, and humans were now a force to be feared and respected. Laura looked around at the humans beside her. Kevin, Eric, and Claire had learned more than survival. They had learned courage, patience, and intelligence. They had learned that humans were capable of facing the deadliest creatures and winning through strategy, precision, and calm control. The arena was quiet. The dust settled. The apex predator lay subdued but alive. Laura smiled faintly, small and calm, knowing she had changed the course of the proving and the perception of humans forever. The alien crowd watched in horror, realizing that humans were no longer prey and that their apex predator, once feared across the stars, had been humbled. The galaxy would remember. Humans had survived. Humans had adapted. Humans had won. And Laura's calm smile, precise movements, and intelligence had taught the apex predator and the entire galaxy a lesson that would never be forgotten. The proving was over. Humans were no longer just observers. They were participants. They were survivors. They were now a force the galaxy would respect, fear, and never underestimate. Laura stepped back, calm and steady, and allowed the beast to settle. The arena had been conquered not by strength, not by weapons, but by intelligence, courage, and control. The apex predator had learned that humans could survive, adapt, and dominate. And as the alien spectators looked on, horrified and silent, Laura's small, calm smile said it all. Humans were no longer prey. They were a force the galaxy could not ignore. The proving had ended, but a new truth had begun. The apex predator was no longer the most dangerous being in the galaxy. A human had shown that courage, precision, intelligence, and calm control could defeat even the deadliest predator. The galaxy would never forget the name Laura.